Edd China's departure from Wheeler Dealers was not something fans expected, and the reality behind it was more complicated than just a simple exit. Edd, who had been the calm, meticulous, and hugely talented mechanic on the show, suddenly vanished from the cameras, leaving fans shocked and puzzled. One moment he was rolling battered cars into the workshop, sleeves rolled up and a big smile across his face, ready to teach the audience how to fix cars properly. The next, he was gone. There was no farewell episode, no shared laughter with Mike Brewer, just silence that left millions wondering why their favorite mechanic had disappeared. The reasons behind his exit were hinted at in rumors, whispers, and industry chatter. Some claimed a sudden budget cut had hollowed out the essence of the show. Others hinted at tensions so extreme that it was like a wrench dropped in a silent room. Over time, the truth began to emerge, showing a mix of creative differences, pressures from the network, and Edd's commitment to genuine repair work. Going back to the early days, Wheeler Dealers began in 2003, long before YouTube and online tutorials became the go-to sources for car enthusiasts. Two very different British personalities came together in front of a single camera and created something remarkable. Mike Brewer, with his quick wit and auctioneer's charm, had a knack for spotting hidden treasures in dusty car lots. Edd China, tall and steady, with his signature orange gloves, brought a calm precision to the work. What made the show special was not just the transformation of cars but how Edd showed viewers every detail. He removed wheels, labeled bolts, and explained the process in simple terms anyone could follow. While Mike cracked jokes and calculated costs, Edd demonstrated that a seized brake caliper or a blown head gasket wasn't the end of the road, it was an opportunity for learning, a weekend project for anyone willing to try. This balance created a compelling show that drew viewers in from all over the world. Fan letters poured in from countries as far away as Brazil and Bahrain, all asking for longer, more detailed repair sequences. By the 5th season, the show was airing in over 100 countries, and by the 9th season, the team was filming in California, chasing the American dream and a massive new audience. The California move brought bigger cars, bigger budgets, and bigger challenges. They handled Ford Mustangs, DeLoreans, and classic Camaros, but with larger-scale operations came increased pressure. The network, now Velocity, wanted faster episodes, more builds in less time, and stricter schedules. Cars had to be fixed, filmed, and sold at a much faster pace. The workshop was vast, filled with shiny lifts, tool chests, and muscle cars, and while it seemed like a dream, it was a dream with rules. Every repair had to be trimmed for time. A job that would have taken 10 minutes of screen time was now squeezed into 30 seconds. An engine teardown that once had full explanations was reduced to quick shots with a voiceover. Edd, who loved teaching and explaining the craft, felt this deeply. Each cut was like a page torn from his guidebook. He asked, even begged, for more repair time, but the network pushed for efficiency. Mike tried to mediate, keeping both the network and Edd happy, but the tension kept growing. On camera, everything looked fine, they laughed, joked, and carried on, but behind the scenes, Edd felt the heart of the show was being sacrificed for speed. Fans noticed the change too. Online forums lit up with questions and complaints. Why were repairs so rushed? Where were the detailed explanations? The teaching element that had made the show unique seemed to be fading. Edd stayed late many nights, filming extra close-ups and detailed explanations, hoping the editors would include them. Most of these shots never made it into the final episodes. The pressure in the workshop increased, tensions rose, and everyone could sense that a breaking point was near. That breaking point arrived in March 2017, when Edd posted a 6-minute video on his YouTube channel, announcing he was leaving Wheeler Dealers. It was simple and direct, no jokes, no clickbait, just Edd, in his orange gloves, explaining that the network wanted to prioritize efficiency over real repairs. He said that a car show without genuine repair work wasn't a real car show, and he couldn't support that direction. The video ended politely, with thanks to fans and praise for Mike, but it was clear that Edd's decision was firm. Fans immediately reacted. The comments section exploded, shares circulated across social media, and car blogs dissected every word. Some praised Edd for standing by his principles, while others questioned why Mike hadn't fought harder to keep the original style alive. The network released a brief statement, saying the show would continue to evolve, but the message felt hollow compared to Edd's heartfelt explanation. The aftermath hit Mike Brewer hard. Fans, upset over Edd's departure, blamed Mike, accusing him of allowing the show to abandon its soul. Angry comments, harsh criticism, and even threats poured in, some dragging Mike's family into the controversy. The situation became so serious that Mike contacted the police for protection. He later admitted that the stress nearly broke him. Edd, understanding the danger, stepped in publicly to defend Mike and ask fans not to escalate their anger. Despite these efforts, the internet storm kept raging, demonstrating how fiercely fans were attached to the show's original style and Edd's teaching approach. The network responded by introducing a new mechanic, Ant, hoping his charisma and energy could fill the void. Ant, a former police officer turned car builder, brought a fresh dynamic to the workshop. He was quick, funny, and skilled with tools, and for viewers seeking fast-paced action, he was a perfect fit. His debut episode featured a bright blue Mustang, where he swiftly disassembled parts, replaced a gearbox, and applied paint with flair. Fans who enjoyed high-energy content loved it, but those who valued detailed explanations and step-by-step instruction felt the show had lost its soul. Ant tried to bridge the gap by filming additional side clips and posting some tutorials online, but many of these never reached the public, leaving the more dedicated fans disappointed. Despite the split, Mike worked hard to support the new dynamic. He highlighted Ant's skills, teased bigger and more complex builds, and promised more instructional content in future episodes. Yet, every social media post carried echoes of Edd's departure, with fans repeatedly calling for him to return. Ant joked about being both loved and hated, a reflection of the immense pressure and expectations in the workshop. Behind the scenes, the team felt the weight of the fans' divided opinions. Ratings remained solid, but the audience was now split between those who enjoyed fast-paced, entertaining builds and those who missed the in-depth repair lessons that had defined wheeler dealers for over a decade. Edd's exit was not just about leaving a show, it highlighted a clash between craftsmanship and efficiency, teaching and entertainment, authenticity and speed. He had built his reputation on detailed, patient explanations that educated viewers, turning repairs into adventures that anyone could try at home. The move to California and the network's push for shorter, faster episodes challenged this ethos. Edd's decision to walk away was a stand for the values he believed in, emphasizing that the integrity of the work mattered more than ratings or speed. Mike, caught between loyalty to his co-host and the pressures of production, had to navigate a delicate balance, trying to maintain fan interest while managing the new dynamic with Ant. As time passed, Wheeler Dealers continued, evolving with a faster pace and a new personality at the workshop, but the legacy of Edd's careful, detailed approach remained. His influence could still be seen in the way the show valued mechanical accuracy and the spirit of teaching, even if the format had changed. Fans continued to debate the merits of each era, with some celebrating Ant's energy and others longing for Edd's meticulous guidance. The split became a defining moment in the show's history, marking the end of one chapter and the start of another, but leaving a lasting impact on viewers and the automotive community. Edd's departure also sparked broader conversations about the nature of television production, especially for instructional and educational shows. It highlighted the tension between creating content that is engaging for a wide audience and maintaining the depth and authenticity that core fans expect. The Wheeler Dealers saga became a case study in balancing entertainment, education, and personality, showing how changes in production priorities can have ripple effects on both hosts and viewers. The story illustrated the challenges faced when scaling a beloved show to international markets and larger budgets, and how these pressures can strain even the strongest partnerships. Ant's role, while significant, underscored how difficult it is to replace a beloved figure whose expertise and teaching style resonated with audiences. The fan reaction to the new format revealed that while charisma and speed can entertain, the educational element, seeing every step, understanding every decision, was what had built loyalty over years. The show's evolution became a delicate dance between honoring the original vision and adapting to new demands. Mike Brewer's efforts to support both Edd and Ant demonstrated his awareness of the audience's divided expectations and the need to balance respect for past contributions with the demands of a changing production environment. Ultimately, Wheeler Dealer's journey after Edd's departure is a story about change, compromise, and the value of authenticity. It reminds viewers that while television can evolve, the connection between hosts and audience, built on trust, skill, and genuine passion, remains critical. Edd's commitment to teaching and maintaining the integrity of car repairs, even at the cost of leaving a successful show, stands as a testament to his principles. Meanwhile, Mike and Ant's work reflects the ongoing challenge of entertaining a broader audience while striving to retain the heart of what made the show special. The narrative of Wheeler Dealers is not just about cars, it is about the human stories behind them, the friendships and tensions, and the dedication to craft that drives both the on-screen action and the passionate community of fans who continue to follow every twist and turn. The impact of Edd's decision extended beyond the show itself. Fans who had learned from his step-by-step guidance felt a personal loss, as though a mentor had left them. The internet buzzed with nostalgia and speculation, creating a dynamic where past and present coexisted in the conversation. Forums, social media platforms, and fan blogs became arenas for debating the merits of each mechanic and era, reflecting the deep attachment audiences had formed over years of watching the show. It highlighted how media consumption had shifted, with fans no longer passive viewers but active participants, demanding transparency, authenticity, and respect for the craft. Wheeler Dealers, through its highs and lows, became a symbol of this evolving relationship between creators and audiences, showing both the opportunities and challenges that arise when beloved figures make principled decisions in the face of commercial pressures. Even after Edd's departure, his influence persisted in subtle ways. New builds, while faster, still carried traces of his meticulous approach. Mike and Ant occasionally referenced techniques that Edd had popularized, maintaining a bridge between old fans and the evolving show. Special episodes and online content sought to recapture some of the detailed repair work, acknowledging that while formats change, the desire for hands-on learning remained strong. The workshop, filled with cars, tools, and energy, became a space where tradition and innovation intersected, reflecting the ongoing balance between speed, entertainment, and education. For viewers, the split between Edd and Mike was more than a cast change, it was an emotional turning point. Fans had invested years watching Edd carefully dismantle engines, explain every nut and bolt, and make complex repairs accessible. His departure underscored how critical trust and consistency are in building long-term fan loyalty. The introduction of Ant, with all his skill and charm, provided excitement but could not fully replace the mentorship and teaching style that had defined the show. This tension created a layered viewing experience, where entertainment value, educational depth, and personal attachment all played a role in shaping opinions. Audiences learned to appreciate the balance required to run a successful show and the difficulty of maintaining authenticity while meeting commercial demands. In conclusion, the story of Wheeler Dealers after Edd China's exit is a tale of passion, principle, and adaptation. It reveals the pressures of television production, the challenges of scaling a beloved format, and the importance of authenticity in maintaining fan trust. Edd's choice to leave rather than compromise on the quality of instruction demonstrated his dedication to craft and integrity. Mike Brewer's efforts to navigate the transition and support both his co-host and successor illustrate the complexities of maintaining a show through change. Ant Ansted's energetic arrival brought a fresh dynamic but highlighted the irreplaceable nature of Edd's detailed approach. Ultimately, the narrative of Wheeler Dealers is not just about cars being fixed, it is about human decisions, principles, and the enduring connection between creators and audiences. The legacy of Edd China, the adaptation of Mike and Ant, and the passion of the fans continue to shape the show, proving that while formats may evolve, the heart of a true car show lies in the love of the craft, the joy of learning, and the bond formed between those on screen and the viewers at home. Wheeler Dealer's story is a reminder that even in fast-paced, entertainment-driven environments, dedication, integrity, and skill remain invaluable, and the influence of a single principled individual can resonate far beyond the camera lens. Even after the split, cars kept coming and going. A classic 240Z, a dusty old Ferrari, and even a military Humvee all were bought, fixed, and sold for profit on screen. The numbers showed that the show could survive without one of its original hosts. But the question lingered, could it ever feel the same again? While Mike Brewer continued chasing new deals and TV excitement, Edd China quietly stepped away, retreating to a small workshop on the edge of the English countryside. For 4 years, he stayed mostly out of the public eye, appearing only occasionally at car shows and charity events. Fans kept asking, where did he go? In 2021, they finally got their answer. Edd launched a brand new YouTube series called Edd China's Workshop Diaries. The first episode went live on a Friday evening. There were no flashy graphics, no primetime schedule, just Edd, a kettle boiling in the background, and a tired Range Rover waiting for attention. He greeted viewers warmly, like old friends, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work. Every bolt was removed carefully in real time, every worn seal shown clearly, and when a part required extra explanation, Edd would pause to draw simple sketches on a whiteboard. The series had a different pace compared to the original show. There were no fast cuts, no background music pumping up tension. It was slower, deeper, and entirely under Edd's control. It reminded longtime fans of the early days of Wheeler Dealers but felt more personal, more educational, and more satisfying. The projects he took on soon grew wilder and more creative. One week, he rebuilt a 1960s milk float and converted it to electric power. The next, he restored a record-breaking motorized sofa that had once zipped through the streets of London. Viewers loved it. Comments flooded in, expressing gratitude and excitement. "I can finally see the whole job again," wrote one fan. By the 10th upload, the channel had already passed 500,000 subscribers. Income came from ads, Patreon supporters, and the occasional merchandise sale, like small garage t-shirts. Without a network controlling deadlines or content, Edd could set his own pace. Some months he uploaded a new video every Friday, while other times he took breaks to hunt rare parts or speak at engineering fairs. Fans didn't complain, they knew the next video would arrive only when the work was truly ready. Sponsors occasionally approached him, but Edd only chose tools he already trusted and used. "If it isn't in my toolbox, it isn't in the show," he joked. Meanwhile, Wheeler Dealers continued without him. Ant Ansted's run as co-host ended in 2020 when he returned home to the UK for family reasons. The network replaced him with Mark Elvis Priestley, a former McLaren F1 mechanic. Priestley brought sharp technical skills and a relaxed humor to the show, and the 2021 season was filmed in a new British workshop. Ratings stayed steady, but fans couldn't help comparing every slow-motion weld to Edd's detailed, methodical walkthroughs. By 2023, both paths seemed firmly set. Edd was teaching and sharing his knowledge at his own pace, while Mike led a faster, lighter television version of the show. Yet whispers of a possible reunion circulated online. Brewer would occasionally say never, while Edd would nod, smile, and quickly change the subject. With both worlds thriving independently, one question remained: would the two ever come together again, or were they content traveling separate roads? The answer remained uncertain, but small sparks kept hope alive. Early in 2023, a tiny car blog posted a single line that sent fans into a frenzy. Sources suggested that Edd China might appear as a guest on a future Wheeler Dealers special. No names, no exact dates, just enough information to fuel endless debate. Reddit threads exploded with speculation. Some claimed they spotted Edd having lunch with a Motor Trend producer at Goodwood, while others insisted that Mike and Edd were secretly planning a charity project to celebrate the show's 25th anniversary. Neither Edd nor Mike shut down the rumors. When asked about it on a podcast, Mike laughed and said, "Never say never. My phone still works." A month later, Edd streamed live from his workshop. A fan asked, "Would you ever go back?" Edd paused, grinned, and replied, "Only if we can show every nut and bolt." It wasn't a definitive yes, but it wasn't a no either. That response was enough to keep fans' hopes alive. Rumors continued to surface. Some claimed the BBC wanted both hosts for a new electric vehicle conversion series, while others suggested Discovery pitched a reunion road trip featuring 10 classic cars across 10 countries. Many of these ideas faded when production schedules slipped or budgets didn't align, yet chatter about a potential reunion never completely disappeared. Small signs hinted that the gap between them was slowly narrowing. At the 2024 NEC Classic Motor Show, Mike and Edd appeared on the same stage for the first time in 7 years. They were on different panels but on the same day. Backstage, they shared a brief, friendly handshake. Reporters captured a photo of them smiling, and Twitter exploded with excitement. A month later, Mike posted a public birthday message to Edd, saying, "Have a great one, mate. Hope to share a brew soon." Edd responded with a thumbs-up emoji. Simple gestures, yet for longtime fans, these moments felt like oil being poured onto rusty hinges. Away from the public eye, both men remained busy. Edd experimented with a hydrogen-powered taxi, suggesting alternative fuels might be his next passion. Mike finished filming the show's 20th season and teased the biggest profit they had ever achieved. Yet in every interview, the same question emerged: would they team up again? Both men answered with a shrug and a smile, leaving the mystery to grow. For viewers, the open possibility itself became exciting. As long as neither said never, the dream of a reunion remained alive. Whether a reunion would happen next year, in the next decade, or never at all, one thing was clear: the story of Edd China and Mike Brewer wasn't finished. It was simply idling, engine warm, waiting for the next green light. Over more than 20 years, a show about buying and fixing old cars had sparked a debate bigger than any engine could. How much authenticity could be trimmed before the heart of the show stopped beating? When Wheeler Dealers first began, every scraped knuckle and seized bolt felt real. There were no slick edits hiding shortcuts, and no sponsors dictating the pace. Viewers learned alongside Edd and Mike, often failing before succeeding, and that made every victory feel earned. The split in 2017 highlighted a difficult truth: honesty and control often come at a cost. Edd chose principle over a steady television career, trading big ratings for full creative control. Mike stayed with the show, carrying the responsibility of managing a global team and keeping the brand alive. Both choices required courage and sacrifice. Both took a toll on sleep and personal time. Yet their separate paths proved two important things. Television is a collaborative industry that demands compromise, but true craftsmanship flourishes when there are no external deadlines or imposed cuts. The audience reaction was surprising. Instead of abandoning one or the other, fans followed both paths. Some enjoyed the fast-paced flips with Mike Brewer, others savored Edd China's long, detailed tutorials. In a world flooded with content, the lesson was simple: give people passion and they will find you, regardless of platform. So, would the iconic handshake ever return? Perhaps. Money often talks in television, but trust and respect speak louder. If the day comes when both men feel the balance is right, when every nut and bolt is shown, and every budget is respected, then those bright workshop lights might turn on once again. Until then, two versions of the same dream continue to roll forward. One chases profit under primetime pressure, while the other pursues perfection one long, measured video at a time. That leaves the question for viewers: which road would you choose? Speedy flips, in-depth guides, or a rare combination of both? The next twist in this story may depend entirely on what people decide to watch. From a small London garage to studios around the world, Edd China and Mike Brewer showed that even dusty, old cars could spark big dreams. Their split demonstrated that passion and profit don't always travel the same lane. Yet both paths still lead to remarkable stories, one told in quick TV cuts, the other in patient, long-form online lessons. Perhaps those roads will cross again, perhaps they are happier apart. In the end, it may simply depend on which path fans support most. The story of Edd and Mike teaches something bigger than any single project. It shows that integrity, skill, and enthusiasm are timeless. Even when priorities differ, and careers diverge, true passion will find an audience. And even if they never share the same screen again, the journey each man takes continues to inspire. Every car restored, every tutorial filmed, every handshake remembered, all are part of a larger tale of friendship, creativity, and the joy of working with your hands. The split, rather than ending the magic, created two different ways for fans to enjoy the craft. One path emphasizes speed, entertainment, and profit, while the other highlights patience, detail, and mastery. Both have value, both attract attention, and both offer lessons. And maybe that's the beauty of it. Life, like a workshop, doesn't always follow a single plan. Sometimes, it takes two different approaches to show the full picture. In the end, Wheeler Dealers was never just about buying and fixing old cars. It became a story about choices, priorities, and the delicate balance between art and commerce. It showed that real work matters, whether done on a prime-time schedule or in a quiet workshop with a kettle boiling in the background. It reminded viewers that authenticity has a price, that patience can be its own reward, and that passion will always find an audience, no matter the platform. As long as fans keep tuning in, posting comments, and sharing videos, both Edd and Mike continue to inspire. The possibility of a reunion remains a flicker on the horizon, a gentle engine rumble promising what might be, rather than what must be. And that's enough. Because in every nut tightened, every engine tuned, every car restored, the story moves forward. Sometimes at primetime speed, sometimes at Edd's careful, unhurried pace, but always moving forward, always inviting the next generation of car enthusiasts to climb in, take a wrench, and keep turning. The show may have changed, the hosts may have diverged, but the spirit remains. Dusty garages, old cars, careful hands, and shared knowledge. That is the essence of Wheeler Dealers, the heart of Edd China and Mike Brewer, and the reason fans will keep watching, debating, and hoping. It's a story without a definitive ending, idling gently, waiting for the next green light, ready to roar again when the time is right. And for those who love cars, craftsmanship, and dedication, that is more than enough to keep dreaming.